After the audience will engage you. So you have the floor now.
Good morning, my professors, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and my co-presenter. My name is Adolphus Ademola James, and I'm with Professor Ben Obi from University of Abuja. I'm here to present a paper titled Energy Transition, the Determinant of Renewable Energy Growth in Nigeria. Next slide. The paper is structured into 5 sections. We have the introduction, the literature review, the methodology, the findings, and the conclusion. So let's start with the introduction. Next slide. There have been a shift in paradigms from the conventional energy to the renewable energy in the world. And scholars have argued that big players in the energy industry are moving from from the conventional energy, that is fossil fuel, to renewable energy. And some of the argument is because of the carbon issues with the conventional energy methods. But studies are reviewed as saying that no, it's not just the carbon issues that is causing the shift from the conventional energy to the renewable energy. Other factors such as the volatility in oil price and energy dependence are making countries to move to renewable energy. And in the third world country, or in the developing country, like in the sub-Saharan African countries especially, countries are moving from the conventional energy that is using fossil fuel to renewable energy. And Nigeria in particular, as at the data for 2020 by the World Economic Outlook, Nigeria energy consumption stood at about 800 megatons, which is relatively higher than the average of the sub-Saharan African, except South Africa. But it's a paradox because looking at electricity, Nigerian electricity consumption is 1/3 lower than the sub-Saharan average. So now, on the problem of the study, we are looking at the problem in the sense that all countries, major countries, are moving from conventional energy to renewable energy. But for Nigeria, the movement has been slow. So to adequately understand what determines movement from renewable energy to conventional energy, we need to understand the determinant of renewable energy growth. We need to look at the factors that drive renewable energy growth, especially in Nigeria. Next section. Next slide. So on the next slide, we are looking at renewable energy consumption in Nigeria. From the graph, you can see around 2010, we have about 80% share of total energy was renewable. But since then, it has been coming down. So we need to understand why is this so? Why are we going down in adoption of renewable energy, whereas other countries are actually increasing their renewable energy consumption? But for Nigeria, it is a slow and gradual process. So on the next slide, we look at energy consumption, and then we look at electricity power consumption. Both of them are increasing, whereas renewable energy consumption was going down from the previous slides. Next slide. Thus, the major objective of this study is to understand the determinant of renewable energy growth in Nigeria, looking at these several factors and parameters. And definitely, a host of please, the previous slides. And definitely, a host of literature was reviewed. We have several studies reviewed to determine what are the factors that drive renewable energy in the developing countries. Most of them, we found some variables common in all of them. They said income. We look at population, we look at urban population, and human development index, and so on and so forth. Next slide. So on the theoretical framework of this study, we are looking at the energy cost theory by Peters in 2007. This theory was selected because it looks at the cost of energy. We are saying that in the third world country, what determines, that's based on this theory, what determines energy utilization is not because of carbon emission or whatever. It's because of the cost of the energy source. We are saying that the cheapest energy source is what people usually go for in the third world country. They don't actually consider other factors like the health issues with the energy source and so on and so forth. So this theory is saying what determines the energy utilization for countries like Nigeria is based on the cost of the energy, that individuals go for the cheapest source of energy available to them. So the next slide. So on the methodology of the study, we look at data from 2000 to 2021. But since we are dealing with time series, this year interval will be too short for a meaningful estimation. So we slice the data to quarterly to allow for more degree of freedom and a better estimation. And the model used in this study is the stepwise regression model. Now, the stepwise regression model is suitable for this study in the sense that we have several determinants of renewable energy. So what we did was that we started from the base to analyze them one after the other to get the factors that determine renewable energy consumption in Nigeria. The next slide. So after pulling several variables, we came out with 7 variables that determine renewable energy consumption in Nigeria. And these are urban population growth, weighted petroleum product pricing, population growth, per capita income, human development index, general energy utilization, and electric power consumption. These are the 7 variables that we are looking at based on the Nigerian experience. And this takes us to the finding of the results. Next slide. So on the result, we start with the descriptive statistics. As we can see, the first variable there is EPC. EPC stands for electric power consumption. We can see that for Nigeria, for the past, that's between 2000 to 2021, that is roughly 20 years, we can see that the average electric consumption, that is electric power consumption in Nigeria, is about 140 kilowatts, which is about 1/3 lower than the sub-Saharan African average. The next is GEU, which is the general energy utilization. We have about 765. That is the mean. And we can see that this is higher than the average of the other countries in sub-Saharan Africa. Next is Human Development Index. Of course, the index is between 0 and 1. 0 means low Human Development Index, while 1 means perfect Human Development Index. And Nigeria stood at 0.49 on the average, which is relatively low compared to other countries. And we have per capita income for Nigeria, which is also high. And we have other variables as shown from the descriptive statistics. So next slide. So of course, we have the trend analysis, that is the periodogram, which shows the movement of the variable over the year. And we can see most of them are increasing, except for the renewable energy consumption, which is a bit slow. The rest are all increasing. Per capita income, Human Development Index, and so on are all on the increasing trend. The next slides. Definitely, we are working with time series data, so we must examine the stationarity property of the data. And this study will use the NG Perron statistics. Of course, we have the ADF and other unitary tests, but this study used the NG Perron because the NG Perron is a non-parametric test, which is robust and has been proven to be better than the other unitary tests. And the result shows that all the variables are stationary at first difference. Yeah, stationarity at first difference means that the variables they became integrated at first difference. That means initially they were not stationary, but after a first difference, they became stationary. So the next slide. Now, definitely we must test for cointegration of the results. And we use the Phillips-Oulairis cointegration tests. And it shows that the variables are cointegrated. For the non-economists, cointegration implies that the variables have long-run relationship. That means they move to the same equilibrium path in the long run. Next slide. So this is the final regression result for the model. We can see the 7 variables that we have. We have C means constant, log URP. URP means urban population. The next is PPP, which means the weighted petroleum product prices. The next is PGI, which means population growth rate. The next is log PCI, which means log of per capita income. Next is HDI, which means Human Development Index. Next is GEU, which means General Energy Utilization. And next is EPC, which means Electric Power Consumption. Now looking at this, all the variables are actually significant, and they all have positive impacts on renewable energy consumption in Nigeria. So we're saying that these are the drivers of renewable energy in Nigeria over time. The next slides. Of course, in this type of study, we must know which of the variables actually influence renewable energy the most and which one influences it the least. We must standardize them to compare the variables amongst themselves to see which one is actually the most determinant of renewable energy and which one is the least determinant of renewable energy. So after standardizing the variables, we found out that income is the major determinant of renewable energy in Nigeria. We are saying yes, if we are to drive renewable energy consumption like other countries, income must be augmented to actually make renewable energy to develop faster in Nigeria. The next is Human Development Index. Sorry, I'm not done with this. Thank you. The next is Human Development Index. Of course, we are saying that Human Development Index also have an impact on renewable energy in Nigeria. And like we all know, the HDI, that is Human Development Index, is made up of three components, which is health, education, and income. We are saying if we have better healthcare, better education, and better income, definitely it will lead to more adoption of renewable energy. The next is urban population growth. We are saying yes, growth in urban population also has an impact on renewable energy adoption in Nigeria. The more people are moving to the urban centers, they have more options of energy than staying in the rural areas. The next is GEU, that is general energy utilization. We are saying yes, it also has an impact on renewable energy consumption. Not to take much of a time, the list there is PGR, which is population growth rate. So we can see the 7 drivers of renewable energy in Nigeria from the most important to the least important, based on the result. Where we say the most important is per capita income, followed by Human Development Index, followed by urban population, followed by general energy utilization, followed by electric power consumption, followed by weighted petroleum product prices, and followed by population growth rate. So the next slide. So on the next slide, definitely we must test for model stability to see whether there's a shift in the model over time. And from the result, we found out that the model was stable over the period of 2000 to 2021. Next slide. So on the conclusion, I said it earlier, that we have the drivers of renewable energy, and then on the conclusion, we are saying these are the determinants of renewable energy in Nigeria that we've identified based on the analysis conducted. The next slide. Now, on the recommendation, based on this finding, we have some salient recommendations to make. Now, definitely we know that for you to actually achieve economic growth as a country, you must use energy. And as you're using energy, there must be carbon emission. That means there is actually a trade-off between economic growth and carbon emission, whereby if your focus is on economic growth, we use more energy and then there will be more pollution. Now we are saying that the government should not just focus on achieving growth, but they should also consider the environment. That is, they should balance carbon emission and growth so that we achieve growth that does not actually have negative impact on the economy in terms of carbon emission. So the second recommendation is that we should put effort on human capital development, because for Nigeria it's a bit low, it's less than 0.5, meaning that more can still be done to develop our vast population and get better human capital. The next is the financial sector. Okay, so financial sector development, we're saying more finances should be given to actually foster renewable energy development. Then finally, we're saying that government should actually increase renewable energy consumption, not just in electricity, but in other aspects of energy utilization. The next slides. Okay, thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr.